Hello, ladies.
Hello.
Welcome to I think it's episode 4 of 2024 LinkedIn Live shows, Master in Diversity Conference and Awards this year. And we have, for those of you who are listening, anybody sitting at their laptop or at their phone now when the sun is shining outside? If you are, we want you to do live commentary. We'll bring your comments on screen, your questions. Let's just have a lovely time sharing with these two incredible young people. Molly Fenton BCAh. Yes, hot off the press, straight from the Palace of Westminster, where she was awarded her British Citizens Award for her work in health. Yes, women's health. Absolutely fantastic. Congratulations, Molly. And Yasmin Li. Oh, I had the absolute pleasure of meeting Yasmin at a female founders event at Admiral. And Yasmin was sharing her vision and her dream to impact the young as a speaker agency. And oh my goodness, well, Molly, she boasts Molly as one of her clients, and she's done incredible things. And you also nearly broke the LinkedIn internet with Brené Brown. You need to tell you. I'm going to ask you to tell me about that. But before I go into it, I always ask my guests to introduce themselves because, I don't like people introducing me because they read a whole long list of things and I'm like asking, where is this person? Where is she? So, so let me first ask Yasmin to introduce herself, and then Molly, and then we get into it.
Amazing. Well, firstly, thank you so much, Bernie, for having me today. I think it's since the day that I met you, we just got on, and I'm so inspired by you, and you are such a role model to so many of us, and especially in Wales, I think, as well. So a little bit about myself. I am the founder of Impacting the Young Speaker Agency, and our big goal is to become the world's most accessible speaker agency for places of education. So we want to make speakers accessible by providing fully funded talks to all schools, colleges and universities on a range of different topics from diverse voices. And then we also work with corporate businesses, and for every paid business talk, we fund a school talk. So I'm really, really passionate about the giving back element and creating this sort of circular economy whereby students have access to corporates and real insight and practical tips into the real adult world, and taking that leap out of the education system is such a big thing for a lot of people. So how can we help better prepare young people through the power of speakers in this world?
Awesome, fantastic. I'm jealous of young people. I want a speaker agent like you, Yas. Can I pretend to be young?
Yes, nobody. You're in. It's fine.
Fantastic. Thank you. Incredible work that you do. Molly Fenton BCAh. I'm sorry, I've got to say it every time. Please do introduce yourself, Molly.
Hello, everyone. My name is Molly Fenton. I have multiple hats. I put it under the umbrella of a women's health activist. We do venture into rights as well, but we'll say women's health activist. I founded the Love Your Period campaign almost 6 years ago now. All the free period products across Wales, all the education happening in schools, we know that needs a bit of improvement, has all come from Love Your Period, which is a network of 75 people across the world, but based and working from Wales, ages 12 to 88 now. Margaret had her birthday 2 days ago. She's our oldest and best member of Love Your Period. And we all work together to be the big sister that a lot of us wish that we had growing up. I'm an ambassador for the Every Woman Festival, which I play as that part again, making sure that we bring young people into the conversation so that festivals that are amazing and conferences like Bernie's and all these things happening, we're not having to redo them all and bring them back in 10, 20 years time because the younger generation weren't included. I'm also a young ambassador for the Brain Tumour Charity. I live with an inoperable brain tumour, which massively affected my hormones, my puberty, my periods, hence my passion in bringing that into Love Your Period to start these conversations. And yes, as Bernie said, I received a British Citizen Award I had a Welsh Woman of the Year award. I was the Young Person of Wales in 2021. And I hold a Queen's Coronation Champion award. So Love Your Period has been, well, it's become massive, and it's become a massive part of the Welsh Government and the scheme. But it's not just me. We all work equally. We go in hand, and we're all exactly the same doing the work.
Fantastic. Well, guys, you understand. And there I go again, saying that offensive word, guys, which takes me to, the whole matter of how careful you have to be in the whole diverse and inclusion space. Now, you talked about women's health, Molly. And so I think about the Olympics, and I think about the fact that now we're having gender parity in terms of, we were talking before we started the show, that you had 50%, is a 50% equal split, male and female athletes. That in and of itself is incredible, don't you think? How
it should always have been.
Exactly.
Why has it taken it this long? But we can't dwell on that and think we've got here. This is a good step.
Exactly. But do we know how it happened? Yasmin, how did that happen? Do you think it was deliberate, or do you think, and what made them discover that?
Do you know what? I think it's just for women in society, we are on such a long journey to becoming equal. And I do think just society is becoming a lot more aware of gender parity in itself. Yeah. And it is it is an amazing, we should celebrate this moment because it is historic. And to get 50% representation is something that we should have all the time. We should have every single year, it shouldn't be just this year, should be every single year.
Exactly. And the thing is, we're here, and I mean, I'm sure if we actually did drill down and we did actually speak with the people more closely, we'd actually ascertain how is it that happened. Because you see what has happened here. We've discovered it. There's a 50-50 gender split right now. But I'm asking the question, how did that happen? And that's what life is like. Isn't it exciting? I'm sure that some people purposefully tried to get this happen, purposefully campaigned, purposefully encourage young female athletes, purposefully influence the people who are doing the selection in the selection processes for the very many sectors within the Olympic games. But today we are seeing it, and it's almost as if it just happened organically. And that is the encouraging thing, and also the sobering thing about the master in diversity work that we're doing. Because in some years on, 50 years, when we have period dignity and there's no more period poverty, somebody's going to say, how did that happen? Well, I can tell you Molly Fenton was a big part of that. No, you see how it happens. And so that's the thing. Sometimes it seems like a thankless job, but do we really care so much about getting the applause? No, we care about the fact that it has happened. And this is so incredible. But I can't talk about the Olympics without talking about the great controversial opening ceremony. For my part, we were talking about it before, and we shared the sentiment that for what it's worth, it really has helped to underscore the sentiments that we have for the master in diversity work and for the work that you do, Yasmin, that you do, Molly. And that is, we want to ensure that no one gets left behind. Yes, in the changes that we're trying to make happen, no one gets left behind. In this instance, to be more particular, it's no protected characteristic gets overshadowed. And I would think the protected characteristic within that context was the religious freedom, religious tolerance. That's what the uproar is, because it just seemed that the organizers didn't take into consideration the fact that there were how many billion, I think it's 2-point-something billion Christians within France who might not have found that the artistic value of their production outweighed the religious sanctity with which the Last Supper was held. So, don't you think that it just actually helps us to keep our focus as we do our work here in Wales in a smaller way? That's a macrocosm, this is a microcosm here in Wales, that we actually truly consider everyone. Any thoughts?
Do you want to go first?
Molly.
Go. Okay,
Yes.
so I think my big thing is, and Bernie, I know we've ended up discussing this a lot over the last few months.
Yes.
Diversity, equality, and inclusion are 3 words that are now massive buzzwords. They are ones that fit into our everyday lives, and all of a sudden, unfortunately, the word trend is coming in. We have organization, whoever it may be, wanting to show that they use these practices and therefore doing all they can to get badges, this and that. And people are already questioning how genuine some of this work is. And it can be quite difficult when you've been doing it for so long. I know we experienced that when I was advertising the conference. And I think sometimes because they are so big and we do think of these end goals or something we could do, and being controversial isn't always a bad thing. I'm not saying that what happened here was right or wrong, but we know that sometimes we have to push the boundaries to break that comfort bubble. However, we are leaving people behind. The ceremony wasn't child friendly. I know that as a child, I'd grow up and I'd be allowed to stay up on the night of the Olympics past my bedtime so that I could watch the opening ceremony. My parents would have put me to bed straight after that. You know, it wouldn't have been appropriate. So there, we are leaving people behind already. So that's where things start going wrong. And that's before even bringing in the religious aspect. We are thinking there of the young people. So that's the angle I'm going to come at it from. But I know there's been a lot of controversy online.
Honestly, that is it. I don't think there's anything else than we were not taking everyone with us, and we go together or not at all. Yasmin, you want to say something, my love?
Yeah, I think I'll come from the side of the young people as well, where Molly came from. I think it's so important to consider all audiences, and the Olympics is a global platform. Like you said, billions of people have eyes on in that moment, and it's live. And yeah, it's so important, that we work together, and everyone who is contributing to these big broadcasting platforms, that there's maybe a process of ensuring that no one gets left behind and people don't feel excluded or, even disrespected in some sense as well.
Yes, absolutely. That is true. That is so true. And I have to be so mindful of it. I remember even earlier, I say, guys, I don't know how to stop saying that, but it's offensive to some people. I'm working on it, but at least I'm mindful of it, and I do apologize when I say it. And but it's a constant thing. There are certain things that are immediately apparent. We know that this is definitely, and more than likely it will offend. But then there are so many ways in which we have to read the room, and we have to be intentional and deliberate about how we deal with other people, and listen and pick up on the cues to ascertain, have I offended in any way? How am I doing with this? How are you feeling about this? And when I work with organizations, that's one of the things that I encourage, and I realize that the organizations that actually get it right are the ones that have a very, very robust feedback process and built into their whole, the way they operate, but not necessarily one that is structured, more one that allows the freedom and anonymity for people to be able to feedback as to how it is that they are feeling, and how it is that they want to be treated, how it is they want to be represented. So I want to ask both of you, Molly from the women's health standpoint, and Yasmin from the young person who wants to make their mark on the world, from that perspective. What do you think is the most difficult or the most challenging thing that they face in trying within the women, young and older, 88 years old? Well done, Molly. Well done. Yes.
It's not me.
No, you allow it to happen. You create the space for those who want to do it to be able to do it. And you create the network, you create the sisterhood, the brotherhood, and that's very important, because a lot of people have ideas, but they don't know where to start. So you've got to take credit for it, Molly. You've got to take credit for it. So what have you found to be the challenges that in that context that people face? To be understood, to be respected.
So from a women's health perspective, I think for any women activists, actually, it goes both sides. Whether we're talking of the person who is the educator or the activist, or the woman receiving that information. One, we just don't know enough. We don't have enough information. Women's bodies weren't used in clinical medical trials until the very late 1900s. We don't know enough about the female body. We don't know enough ourselves, and therefore there's gaps in education that are available and perfect for businesses marketing products. And this means that we've got a battle of, we're all starting from square one, trying to learn no matter our age, because we haven't been taught. And then the companies are realizing that there's also an opportunity. So we're at the moment, I think, head to head, trying to really, really battle each other, because we've come so far in discussing, but there is these issues from the other side. It can be very difficult to really push through when it comes to activism. There's so much backlash. The stigma, the objectification, the sexualization of anything to do with a woman's body is quite frankly disgusting. And my work has shown, or I've seen it personally, that the moment a girl hits puberty or menstruation, that whole sexual idea has been put onto her, and whether she understands that or not, that's the way these things are viewed. We see it with inserted products, tampons and menstrual cups and menstrual discs. We see it when it comes to periods coming under sexual education. There are so many problems, and because we've been given that mindset, and then there's no room for that mindset to be pushed, because you've got all these paid for ads telling you to take these powders and these gummies and this and that people trying to be the activists to get in to make the actual change are having to work 10 times harder than they should have, and it's so easy to burn out. So I think that's the main problem as an activist, that doing the activism itself, but also the personal pain and trauma of growing up as a woman in the society that we live in has inflicted on us, whether that be from reading the news, personal experience. So both sides, and at the moment it's very easy. If you don't think of the wins right now, it's very easy to curl up in a ball and hide in a corner when you realize the dire state that anything to do with women's health is in right now.
But not Molly. We ain't done no curling up
Not
in
me.
the ball, no. And we rise. Most definitely. Yasmin, you must meet so many different young people who have a voice, have a message, have a purpose, have a mission, but they do have the challenges. That's why you have actually created that platform. Talk with me about some of the things that, case studies, of course, anonymous, but just give us a flavor of what you actually experience and how you support them.
Sure. I think the main issue that we're seeing is representation of young people. So I know that in your book, you have an example of a group who said basically no one came into his school who represented him, who looked like him, who he could aspire to and achieve what he achieved. So for me, it's about really encouraging young people to use their voice as their superpower. And I always say to young people, take it and really, really go and use it and inspire it and practice speaking and practice your communication skills, because you need to represent, and we need more of it, especially in classrooms for children at younger ages. And I think that's the main thing for me. It's representation of young people to young people, and having the encouragement to use their voices. I think that's so key, and something that we need to work harder on in helping young people to develop that skill. And like my work with Molly, I think Molly does not need any training whatsoever. She's a much better speaker than a lot of people out there in the world. But, it's representing and using her voice on panels, in events, which matters, and for her voice to be heard.
That's incredible. And then, Yasmin, I'm just thinking about you and your experience that with Brené Brown. So the whole you talked about representation with Levi Roots. She's been a woman, represented that representation piece for you. And you, I'm not going to tell your story. Tell us about that incredible interaction with Brené Brown.
Yeah, it feels like such a long time ago now, but I started writing on LinkedIn not so long ago, about a year and a half ago, when I launched my own business. And I wrote a post about quitting my first-time job and how Brené Brown's Netflix episode really, really encouraged me to step into my vulnerability, to use my vulnerability as like courage for quitting my role, for going full helm at entrepreneurship. And yeah, she replied to it and she said, good luck and be brave. And that comment, genuinely, from someone who I idolize and inspires my work, was crazy. And it got, I think, over 100,000 impressions, maybe more.
Wow.
But it was really special. And yeah, she is someone who really embodies, I think, vulnerability, shame, guilt, and she does a lot of research behind it as well. So definitely one for all young women, especially to aspire to, because she's great. And she really breaks down the barriers, I think, into really understanding your shame and your embarrassment and your guilt. So yeah, it was special. It was so nice to just have a little bit of encouragement. And yeah,
and that just epitomizes one of the things that I say, and I know, and we know, but we don't act on enough. That one small act from somebody in influence, so an ally, because that's who we are. And to be a true ally, you've got to have a position of influence. And when you have that position, and you might say, "Well, I'm not Brené Brown," but listen. Those of you who are listening, I'm preaching to the choir to Yasmin and Molly, because they know that there's always somebody that you can affect you positively. There's always somebody. There's always somebody. This is why I think the rata, they say you must never compare yourself, because there's always somebody better than you or not as good as you. So it's foolhardy. So when you are doing what you're doing, take the time to look and see, who can I take up with me? Who is beside me as well that I can carry along with me? Because we make a mistake if we think we can only help those people who are not at our level. I get a lot of help from people that are at the same level as me, unless there is somebody who's at a higher level. Because when you are in a position like somebody else, there is that what's the word? It's not it's resonance. There is that understanding. You know exactly what they have gone to. You might be a few steps ahead of them in one area, but they are a few steps ahead of you in the other area. How do you find that? Because I get a feeling that kind of collaboration happens with you and Molly, Yasmin. I watch you both. I see you platform Molly, but somehow I also see that Molly also inspires you. Talk to us about this fantastic relationship, because it's not just it is not just two young people hanging out, but it's also not just two people working together. Tell us about that fantastic dynamic that you have.
Oh gosh, I can say a little piece, and then Molly, maybe you can say what you think. Yeah, I first came across Molly and the Love Your Period campaign on Instagram, and I had it was really early days for me, starting out impacting the young, and I just saw them campaigning, and I thought I would love to just help and support this initiative. And yeah, since then, I think Molly and we've just developed, like you said, this relationship where it is professional, but it is also friendship. Yes. And Molly inspires me the most. I tell you that all the time, Molly. You genuinely do. I got so emotional at our event, because what you epitomize is a role model is someone who backs a lot of other people. You give so much. And yeah, you made me change my perspective on a lot of how I do business and how I build relationships, and just seeing what you built through Love Your Period it's inspirational, and you deserve all of the achievements and accolades that you've got. But I guess, yeah, working together is, for me, I just love to put people on that pedestal, to give them the platform to share their voice, to share their story. That's what Impacting the Young is all about. And to amplify Molly's young voice is the best. It's a celebration for me. It's special. So yeah, that's my little piece there.
So before the end of the show, I'm going to ask you to give me one of Mollyisms, because I know she's got them.
One of what? Sorry.
One of her Mollyisms.
Mollyisms.
Yes. Her
What's
little.
Mollyism?
Yeah. I know she has quite a few Mollyisms here, I tell you. little sound bites, little things that Molly says.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh gosh.
Yes. You have a lot of sound bites. I don't talk to you as often as Yasmin does. I know there's loads. As long as they're child friendly.
That's the problem.
I've got a good quote. Well, I'll have to find it, so I'll find it.
Yes, I'm putting it later on. Yeah.
It's probably great. It's probably life-changing, so it's fine.
No, it's a good one, Molly, don't worry.
Yes, Molly.
I think I came across Yasmin I was like, oh, no, I'm not going to join a speaking agency. No, they don't feel right. The ethics aren't right. The morals aren't right. Anyway, so then Yasmin, I just keep seeing her everywhere. And I did the Every Woman Festival 2023. I wasn't an ambassador at the time. It was the first time the festival. And I'd had to isolate 2 weeks before the festival to be able to do it, because my immune system was so bad and I was so ill that's just what I had to do. And before the festival, I hadn't done anything with Love Your Period for over a year. And my sister Tilly had been running it, but we didn't actually tell anyone. We just hoped that she'd turn up to events and no one would notice that she was Tilly and not Molly. Why we thought that would work, I never knew, but we did. We thought that would work, and things just ticked along. So I went to Every Woman and I saw a familiar face, and it was Yasmin sat at the back. I was like, oh, she's got me again. And I actually made the decision on stage there and then, as I was talking. I was like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to join Impacting the Young. And since then, so that literally happened. Like, we got the ball rolling straight away. I think Yasmin was ready for the moment, as was I. It was going to happen. Impacting the Young. I'm known for calling people out on their ethics, I basically say my opinion, and I'm not very popular for it. If I think you're amazing, I'll tell you. If I don't, I'm not going to say you're not amazing, but I'm not going to tell you, sort of thing. And people really show their true colors in lots of different times. And I found that my brain tumor had become part of that. So Every Woman was the first time that I'd stood and said out loud, I have a brain tumor. This is why I do it. And Impacting the Young was sort of the first area that I could utilize that, whether that be in the period work or by itself, or that whole thing of, I was told that I had 12 months to live. I'm still alive and I'm doing really, really well and I'm getting better. This is what I've learned. And Yasmin became one of the very few people, when I was rebuilding my life and things went really, really wrong, or I forgot to do this, or my brain didn't work. Yasmin at many points was the only person who didn't treat me any differently, or it was kind of like, oh, Molly, silly brain, it's okay, we'll get on. We get back on that pedestal, and we work over it again. And I was so used to a negative reaction that I was so taken aback by it. And no matter where I go with Impacting the Young, and no matter what happens, I say that as I'm not leaving or anything. That sounded really bad. No matter what happens, I'll always remember that and cherish that. And there's Yasmin and I can switch in and out of work 1 minute we're talking as if she's my agent, my manager, and I'm talking to her, and then it's like, oh my gosh, I got gossip. Good gossip. We don't like gossiping. It's gossip about me, not other people.
I feel that's what I do as well myself. I have so much going on in my life. I don't need to gossip about somebody else. I tell you, I have good gossip
no,
on
let me
myself.
tell you about my day. Yeah, so Yasmin we're able to switch in and out. And I think that's only enhanced our professional relationship as well.
Absolutely.
I didn't think they were two things that could go hand in hand. I didn't know they were two things that mixed, but actually I think they mixed really, really well. So yeah, I don't have anything bad to say about Yasmin at all, which is unlike me.
Awesome.
I usually pick people up on everything, but I literally have nothing for Yasmin. So well done.
Right. Awesome. That's fantastic. I have a feeling Yasmin has her Mollyism. You ready?
I was going to add that Molly, we sat on a call, and it was probably, I don't know, maybe our 4th ever call. And Molly said to me, Yasmin, I just want to celebrate life. I want to celebrate living. I want to be in a room and it be fun and people to just understand, like, live and genuinely like enjoy this moment. And I said, okay, let's do an event then. And we were both looked at each other like, oh gosh, we've really just committed to putting on an event. And from that moment, we really did just say, okay, we're going to put on an event. We're going to commit to it. And yeah, it was such a special evening. I know, Bernie, you were there in support.
I was there. That's why I'm like,
yeah. That sentence really stuck with me when you just said to me, I want to celebrate living. And yeah, it changed my whole, it genuinely did change my life, because I told everyone afterwards, and it really inspired me to just get this event over and done with, because I was always putting it off. As an entrepreneur, you do that. So, yeah.
Awesome. Do you know, my Mollyism, the famous one is about living, but it's a different twist. She was like telling me about her life and so on, and then she said, and then Bernie, I realized I might have to think about getting a mortgage. Those things that people who live have to think about. I don't know. I just thought, how precious is this young lady? It's like, honestly, it's just the authentic outpouring of who you are, which is what I really believe, and that is why you both have such a bond, because you're both about authenticity. And when people like you are teaching the young, who are, believe me, whether or not you say a word, they're watching, they're listening, they're learning. And in what you're doing, you have no idea the impact you're having. But I can tell you, young people, you are making such a difference. And when I see the young people around you, I mean, I can't believe, I tell my sister recently, I can't believe I'm talking about young people. I am the old people now. When I was young, we were talking about the old people. I am the old people now. But, when I see the young people in the Love Your Period campaign and all your network of stakeholders, Molly, and you have the older ones as well, like me. Thank you so much. I'm not the only older person you have in your network. And I see what Yasmin is doing. And I you are, each one teach one. That's what that comes to mind. And it's powerful. It's a positioning for purpose. And that takes me, Molly, to your youth parliament work. Tell me about that, because you're in the youth parliament, aren't you? The Welsh youth parliament.
I'm not. I never.
I
got rejected twice from Welsh Youth Parliament. We have a Welsh Youth Parliament. I got rejected twice from Welsh Youth Parliament when I applied, but we have a Welsh Youth Parliament representative, Reuben Kelman for Cardiff North, who was at the event that Love Your Period held.
That's where I got that from. Okay.
And so we had this event in the Senedd, and the whole idea was that it was young people able to take over. So I went, I was introduced as a guest speaker, which I thought was absolutely hilarious. And we had a small group of the Love Your Period youth team run it. many of which couldn't be there on the day, but the three main people that had been setting it all up, and I'd just been doing the boring stuff in the background that had to be done, and helping them and jumping on the phone at 11 o'clock at night because they were panicking about this or that and not having enough pens. You know what it's like. I'd be the same, to be honest, so I don't even blame them, to put together this event. And so the Welsh Youth Parliament, we've been trying to engage with them for a long time. We've been trying to engage with any sort of youth organisation, but it's so difficult. I never expected it, because if someone came to me, and this is probably bad and I need to look at the boundaries of it, but if someone came to me and said, will you do this? Especially if it's for young people, I'd be like, yes, count me in, count me in, count me in. Before I even think about anything, or even check my diary if I'm free. I'm really, really bad for doing stuff like that. And getting to work and collaborate with youth organisations. And by youth organisations, I mean they're usually ran by adults, but young people are heavily involved, which is where Love Your Period's very different. It is. We don't really have any adults in charge, which is probably not a great thing, because I'm not a real adult. I don't class myself as a real adult. I'm still young. It's fine. And it's been super, super difficult. So having Ruben there as a representative meant that we knew what was going on and what the priorities of the Welsh Youth Parliament are and how they work within the whole government structure. And then vice versa, we were able to make sure that we were working in a way that would really benefit the Youth Parliament and any potential collaboration. So I really, really hope that this next round now, because this lot have just ended their 2 years, I believe it is. The next lot of Welsh Youth Parliament members will be more open to collaboration, and we may be able to work something out.
Well,
but
I was actually in the Senate when you were mentioned by Julie Morgan, and the First Minister himself said, oh, Molly, she's a highly impressive young lady. And they were talking about the work that you do. So I think it's only a matter of time. Everything is all about the timing, you know, Molly. So when you're ready, it will happen. You might, you know, and I think you're ready now, BCAh. I think you're ready, Molly. Right. And now, Yasmin, you changed positions recently, didn't you? You came from the audience watching your speakers speak to actually going on stage. Hugh James.
Yeah.
Yes, tell me about that event, because I can tell you about that, because I was meeting with the partners recently and they talked about how impressive you were. But tell me about that experience. Yes.
Yeah, so it was a really, really nerve-wracking experience. And now I think because I run a public speaking agency, everyone thinks that I am the most confident person on stage. I'm a public speaker. I am not by any means. And every time I step on stage, I get nervous every single time. And that's actually how I opened up my speech with the employees at Hugh James and in collaboration with NatWest. So yeah, I got the opportunity from an amazing guy called Nathan from NatWest, and they were running a women empowerment event at Hugh James for their employees and some charity partners as well. And I was tasked to do a 15-minute sort of energizer to the room. And you know what, it was such a great experience. And like I said, I was so nervous, but a lot of practice, a lot of visualization happened. And then, yeah, kicked it off, and we made them stand up. We made them roar out loud, shout their names. We made them tell us experiences of, you know, what message would they like to say to their younger selves. And I think that really resonated with a lot of people, just having that time to reflect, and also to show that it's so impactful. Our words are so impactful for young people. And what would you have liked to have heard at a younger age that maybe, you know, you didn't hear, and or what were the words that you heard that got you to where you are today? Words are so impactful and powerful. So that was sort of the whole energizing talk. And yeah, it was a great event. It was really special. And to do it, you know, for Hugh James, such a big organization, was a privilege, and yeah, really special.
Awesome. That's incredible. And that piece about, you know, what would you say to your younger self? It is so important to sometimes stop and think, because what it does is that it actually demonstrates to us how far we've come. And it also helps the person who's listening, who might be at that stage, to get the information they need now, not waiting until they get to their 30s to say, oh, that's what I should have said to my 16-year-old self or my 20-year-old self. So that was a really good exercise. And that question is never old, it's never irrelevant, because there's always somebody who needs to reflect on how far they've come, and also somebody who needs that bit of advice right there, right now. So that's incredible. But I can tell you that you were, they're talking about you, Yasmin.
Oh my goodness, you need to tell me what they're saying, Bernie.
Exactly. All good, all good. Yes. So, Molly, I could not have you on and not bring up backlash, because that is something that you deal with every day. So if you are able, if you think it's going to be too traumatic to talk about it, that we can move on. But a lot of us face backlash for the things that we have to do. With purpose comes privilege, but sometimes with purpose comes some amount of, it feels like penance. So would you just share, because there might be some young person who has a dream, who started that dream, and there is some amount of backlash, or might even be an older person like myself, who, because it never ends, the cycle of trying to do what you need to do and getting the backlash for it doesn't end. So would you mind sharing if you can?
Yes, so Love Your Period's work has got backlash from, I'd say day one, but it's actually even when it was just an idea, before it even became a campaign. Obviously, I was told not to do it, and was warned things would be bad. I'm quite good. Every now and again, I will take screenshots of some of the messages and comments we get and put them all on one post and post it. And I do it every few months to make people see how angry sometimes basic anatomy, so female anatomy, can make someone. It's gone very, very far before. And it once happened on a campaign with the Welsh Government back in late 2021. They said to me, we're going to take this post down. We're going to take the social media post down. I said, no, you're not. I said, I worked so hard on that. You're not taking it down. And they did keep it up. And the amount of backlash was insane. And I think with social media as well, it's so easy to find information about someone. So I keep my personal pages and my personal life very separate, believe it or not, even though I share about my health, very, very separate and locked up compared to my work life and all the campaigning I do, and whether it be Love Your Period health. When I decided to open it up to talk about health and the brain tumor, and I only cover the brain tumor, I don't cover any other health things, you're then showing a level of vulnerability that you haven't shared before. So people could see very quickly that I looked unwell. People could see that my eyes were, I went round like for 3 weeks and my eyes were completely bloodshot. So any interviews I did and I couldn't cancel them, that they were there. And for me, if I saw someone on TV that I knew that didn't look like that, I'd go, oh gosh, I hope she's okay. But that's not always the reaction from others. My body changed very, very drastically. And the amount of horrific comments and messages I get about that on a daily basis it's disgusting. And for a long time, I had to have someone come in and monitor those messages so that I didn't have to see them. And then also being a young female campaigning, the amount of inappropriate photos I get sent is just absolutely insane in every single social media platform, and you can't escape it. I've changed the mindset and learned that actually, as you've mentioned, Bernie, just now, that means the message is getting across.
Yeah.
If people are getting angry at something so basic and natural, whether that be, well, obviously the brain tumor is not natural, but whether that be illness and disability and hate towards that, or whether it be periods and female anatomy and hormones, then those are two things that no one should be getting that angry and horrible about. And therefore, it shows that the message is getting across, but it has taken so much to learn that. And it's, you know, it's been a lot of being really, really upset in my mum and dad's room when I was 16 years old, or, you know, even now, like it does sometimes affect me now, especially those more personal attacks, but it's going to happen. And I think it just shows how, not only how much the work is needed, but on a positive spin on it, how much the work is actually working. People are starting, you know, people have been listening, but have they been really hearing? They're starting to hear it. And they're getting scared because we are doing something that's, you know, we've been sat here. Some of these topics are down here and we're going all the way up here with them and we're talking about them.
Yeah, so, but to use the sporting analogy, since we started with the Olympics, you know, you know, if you go to the gym and you do a workout, I always jokingly say, my goodness, I'm having pains in parts of my body I didn't know existed. and that is what happens spiritually, because you know they're having pains in parts that they didn't know existed, because you're touching nerves that they didn't even know were there, and they can't even understand why it is that they are annoyed, upset, revolted, repelled, whatever it is, but they keep coming back. So the fact that they keep coming back, it means you're touching the right nerve. It's just it's the same thing. So you go to the gym, and you know, then you go and if you go for a massage, oh, let's get that one, that knot. Let's go back to that knot. You'll tell the masseuse, wouldn't you? So it's a similar thing. Yeah, that's where the pain is. Okay, let's get to it. And I always say the pioneer. You just get in you got to get the bloody nose. You've got to get the scrapes. You know, you're pioneering, and it's incredible. It's a privilege, an absolute privilege to be alongside you two incredible ladies. And we're coming up to gosh, my goodness, where did the time go? We have 4 minutes, so we literally have 2 minutes now. I always give my guests and 2 minutes or to just say what it is that, if we forget everything that you've said, don't forget this one thing. What would you like your audience to not forget? I'm gonna I will spotlight you now. Okay.
Amazing. I will say, I think, remember that your voice is your superpower, and if you have the ability to use it to inspire, to empower a young person, then please do. And don't be afraid of public speaking. You know, a conversation is public speaking, but yeah, if you have a story, if you have a powerful message, go and use it and empower and inspire young people, because young people need it more than ever. And through Impacting the Young in our work, if you'd like to get involved or support our work, then please do get in touch with me, because I'd love to connect with more people and expand this sort of network of speakers as well.
Fantastic. And I have, if you look at the scrolling banner, the LinkedIn profile is there to contact
Amazing.
both
Thank you.
ladies. Yes. And if you want them to contact you in any other way, but I have the LinkedIn to connect with Molly, your profile link. Molly, your profile link is very long. I'll have to talk to you afterwards about how to shorten it.
Please do. Thank you. Let me know. Teach me.
Right. And Molly, your time now, my dear. Let me spotlight you. Here we go.
The biggest thing my brain tumor taught me was actually that none of us actually know if we're going to wake up tomorrow. None of us know if we're going to survive today. We don't have any control over that. But what you do have control over is if you're going to use today to actually live. What can you do today that makes you happy? It doesn't matter how big or small it is. These things I don't think are quantifiable. You've just got to do something that makes you happy, so that if you don't wake up tomorrow, you have lived. And if that means it gives you a passion to start a worldwide campaign that talks about vaginas every day, as I did, then you know what? Go for it. Or start a business like Yasmin has, and all the amazing work that Brené does every single millisecond of the day. It doesn't matter how big or small or global or just in your area, in your household, what it is. We've got to take those quantities off things and just make sure that you're happy and that you're truly living.
Absolutely, that's fantastic. Yes, so and you led right into where I want to end with, and that is the work that we're doing. All of us are doing together, the Master in Diversity work, the little bits that You might think, oh, I'm only doing this, Bernie. I'm only sharing a post. I'm only commenting. I'm only introducing. I'm only volunteering. Yasmin, you volunteered last year, didn't you, on the day? You might think, but that's so important. That's super important. So, the Master Diversity Conference is on the 16th of September. Get booking. Yes, it's going to be incredible. Yes, the book. Yes, the book. Get the book. Yes, that's what, if you want to know why we're doing all of that, it's in the book. Get the book. And somebody said to me recently, Bernie, I'm training from your book. I was like, wow. She's actually using the book to train in-house organizations. That's incredible. And yeah, so, but it is so important that we get the word out. The conference, it's even more important to give people credit for the work that they've done. So the awards, get your nomination pack, and let us, we've got to, let me just make sure I'm not going over the time. Yes, we get the nomination packs. All right. And people ask me, is it for Black people only? Come on, then I'll be perpetuating the problem, wouldn't I? So it's not for Black people only, right? It is for everybody, all cultures. The last time I looked, it's together that we're doing this, okay? Can you nominate yourself? Yes, please. Come on. Like I said, we need to know ourselves. So if somebody else doesn't know about the work that we're doing, then would you mind telling us? Because you know yourself, then showcase yourself. So please do. We are encouraging you to nominate yourself. And you can nominate yourself in more than one category, and you can get nominated in more than one category. The deadline is July 31st. It's going to be at the Senate. And because what better place? That's where decisions are made. So we want to get the people that are doing everything to get the attention of the people who can do everything together on the 16th of October. Okay? All free, because that's one of my, I'm so pleased that this year, everything is free. The conference, all free to attend and to exhibit. And we have top class, the sponsors, NatWest, Commonwealth Games Team, Wales. We have Bevan Buckland. We have Scouts Cymru. We have, help me girls, Tony Clarkston. We have Belindra. We have Welsh Ambulance University Trust. We have Oggy. We have Brown Jacobs. Oggy. They don't like it. It's my show. I can do it. Yes, we have all these fantastic partnership with Welsh Rugby Union, Cardiff Life did an incredible job spreading the word, and WCS Agency. So as you can see, it's a collective. It might be my idea, but it's no longer my vision. What a powerful thing that is when we have a joint vision, and that's what we're doing. And at the end of the day, we can't do it alone, but together we can do it. Molly Fenton is going to be one of the speakers. Imagine that.
I know. It's crazy.
Imagine that. That is just incredible. We have Molly, we have Glenn Webb, we have Andrew Jenkins, we have the High Sheriff of South Glamorgan, Janie Howell. She's coming. In fact, she reached out and said, I saw your event. I want to come. Amazing. How incredible is that? It's just incredible. We have Vaughan Gethin, who at the time, we're not sure if he's going to be still First Minister or MS, but as long as he's able to come, he's going to be coming. I think he's planning for that to be his last engagement. Incredible. So that would be his last official engagement as the First Minister or as an MS. It doesn't matter. He's coming to share because he does have that vision. He shares that vision from last year when he was Minister for the Economy. We have Mark Drakeford, who last year as First Minister, he opened the conference. This year, he's sponsoring the awards at the Senate. So, as you can see, we've got support from the top all the way down to the community groups, where it really happens, where the groundswell takes place and things truly happen. Yes?
Amazing.
So, yes, amazing. Woo, woo, woo. Right. So I've done really, really well. Oh my goodness. You need to wear your glasses. So I am actually ahead of the time by 4 minutes. So by 6 minutes. So is there anything, young ladies, that you wanted to say, but you cut it short because I said to you, you only have I have a message here. Somebody has who's that? Oh, you've gone anonymous on us. Thank you all. This has been so uplifting. Thank you for sharing your stories, and to Bernie for introducing us to fantastic people out there doing. Oh yes, I know. Aren't I blessed to know all these fantastic people? It's just incredible, and they actually want to come and talk to me.
Always, Bernie. We always want to talk to you.
Yes, LinkedIn user. What's your name? Tell us your name so I can shout out to you. But yes, have you nominated your diversity champion, LinkedIn user? Have you nominated yourself? Have you booked for the conference? Come on. Have you bought the book?
I love it. I just wanted to say, Bernie, just thank you again for inviting myself and Molly as well. Speaking on behalf of Molly, but yeah, it's really good to have these conversations, and I think we need to have them more. Even just it is just a conversation, and at the end of the day, like we don't do enough of it anymore. I don't think.
Yes.
So yeah, it's really nice to have this with you, and then also. I want to say thank you to you for helping me to build my own confidence, right?
Oh.
So since I met you at that round table at the Admiral event, I've really built my confidence through you to use my voice as well, especially. So I want to say thank you.
Oh, anonymous boo, it's Emma Rose. Hi, Emma Rose. Yeah. Oh, thank you. Yes to the book. Oh, yeah, you got the book. Woohoo. Yes. Well done. Yes, Emma Rose. Yes, you're awesome. Loving it. Yes. No, yes, Yasmin. That means the world to me because, gosh, it's like I said, you don't know the impact you're having. So it does really help to hear that. I remember I was in tears when I actually found out how Molly knew me by my TED talk and her saying that I made such a difference. I mean, I was just like, what? And that was about 2 years before we actually met, wasn't it, Molly?
Yeah, you'd become like this celebrity idol. I always say this. I've got these really, really random everyday people that people look at celebrities, but I look like these individuals. And when I found out, or when I saw you at that award ceremony that we were both at, like I know Tilly's told you, I was like, oh my gosh, that's Bernie Davies. And you smiled at me when you were walking to the toilet. I was like, Tilly, that's Bernie. She just smiled at me because that is how I felt. And you've just put your self-worth down. And I'm going to point this out because you said they want to talk to me. But you shouldn't be thinking like that, because had you told me back then that I'd be, going for lunch with you, or doing this or doing that, or making plans or speaking at your conference, like that would have been my entire world. So you have absolutely no idea, because you had no idea who I was, but you'd had such a profound impact on my life at a time I needed it most. And that TED talk, and you in general, as has Yasmin, has been a massive role as to why I'm able to live the life that I do today. So you just have no idea.
It's thank you very much. But do you know what, Molly? I don't ever want to lose that. And I say that to myself. I think that's probably my superpower. My superpower is not taking myself seriously in the sense of, oh, this is me. Look at what I have done. I remember I got really excited about an award. I think it was the IOD. And someone said to me, why are you excited? Isn't that like every day? And I was like, what? I didn't have to get that award. No, I am excited. I feel like a kid at Christmas. I don't care how many awards. And the person said to me, well, for us, that's just par for the course for you. I'm like, oh, well, thank you very much for not celebrating me. And I noticed with you, Molly, you celebrate everything. You're telling me when, you're so excited about the least accolade. And I honestly think that is what keeps you relevant. I think when you keep yourself seriously, humble and just be so excited and happy when something, because listen, do you know how many people are doing things in life and how many people get the recognition? The percentages don't look good. Yes. So when we are doing our stuff and people are recognizing it, I'm glad that we are excited. I am excited, and people want to do stuff to join my vision. Oh, I don't ever want for that to get old for me. I am excited about it because I don't think I'm not entitled. We're not entitled. We might deserve it, but we're not entitled. So when it happens, yes, I celebrate every little win. You know what it means to hear Yasmin say that I helped her with her confidence? For me, that's huge. I'm not, oh, well, yes, well, definitely you will get confidence having spoken to me. Like, seriously? No, that's a huge thing for me. Anyhow, it's a wrap. Time's up. Time's up. Thank you all. This is the end of it, and we'll see you soon. Remember all of what the ladies said. Superpower. Your voice is a superpower. And Molly is saying, don't you let them grind you down. You do what you got to do. Live, live, live now. Awesome. Ladies, stay with me.